Hi and welcome to this short, we can call it seminar or information about the combination of COS Business Engine and Calix equipment. And I hope that you will enjoy this session today. And shortly about myself is that my name is Björn, working with partnerships all around the globe with COS. Nej, nu tappar jag mig. Kan jag få börja om? Jag måste få... Hi and welcome to this session with COS and Calix. We will show the combination of the COS Business Engine, which is an orchestrator, and the Calix equipment, and the big advantages for you as an operator. And myself, my name is Björn, working with partnerships globally, and I'm really proud to be on this session.
Yeah, Spencer May, COS Systems, Head of Technical Sales Support. And I'll be guiding you through the demo of both the Business Engine and Calix SMx today.
And hello, everyone. My name is Mats Lindmark. I'm a network architect, consultant engineer at Calix. And I will talk about the Calix platform and as well as the migration from point-to-point Ethernet to PON.
That's great. And I will start with a short introduction about the COS Business Engine. Mats will talk more about Calix, the Calix equipment and everything surrounding that. And in the end, Spencer will do a demo showing side by side the COS Business Engine and the Calix equipment. So with that said, I will start off with a short intro. Yeah, me and myself and Spencer work for COS. We are doing end-to-end system, an orchestrator for single provider operators and also for open access networks. And this is like a single view, so you can get more efficient in the daily work and also make a really good customer experience for the end subscriber. So I will talk shortly about this. And we have a big platform that includes many details. I don't have the time today to talk about each and every one, but this is, you know, a quick glimpse and overview of what we have to offer. And to be even more specific, which goes into Spencer's demo, is this workflow. So I will talk shortly about this so you have more a feeling of the system and what we can do. So in the system, you document addresses. So you have information where you're going to build and where you can deploy. But you can also use this initially within the platform to do a survey. So you can check out areas. From that, the areas that are high take rate and have great interest, you can move them to sign up. So now you can sign up in those areas. And from that, you can set up you have a marketplace. You could do a selection of services, or if you have just the deployment to the home, any way that you want to do it. So now you have that kind of investigation phase. From that, you can use our installation work order management, which means that you have people out on the field, you are deploying the ONT, you want this correct. And in the end, it goes back to the big COS Business Engine, and now zero-touch provisioning is starting. So this is kind of a really smooth workflow for you, for people who are using this system. And as soon as the ONT is installed, it's auto provisioning. So everything will go and go live. So the subscriber that use this, that we install the ONT, will now get the service instantly. And from this, you have a big system where the subscriber can use My Pages, etc. The operator have a big backend system where we kind of aggregate everything. So we can deploy, have different integrations with GIS systems, with billing systems, and now you get kind of a single view. And this means in the end that you get really efficient and you can scale without staffing up. So that was the short intro from my side, and from that we will go over to Mats and Calix.
Thanks a lot, Björn. That was great. I'll share my screen here. I think we'll take a step back a little bit. We'll talk about active Ethernet and transformation and migrations to XGS-PON technologies in a simplified way. So if you look at the Nordic market to begin with, we have a very well built out market in terms of fiber. Fiber coverage throughout is somewhat between 70 to 90%, and the take-up rate is pretty much the same all over the Nordic region. So we already have a built-out fiber network. Now, a lot of the fiber network is quite, I would say, there's a lot of legacy fiber networks where customers can only get 100 megs of speed, and the quality of service and latency is quite high for some of these networks. Now, there's a lot of intentions to start to migrate these networks to newer technologies. And if we look at the PON technology, that has gone from the old GPON technology to today's 10 gig symmetrical PON technology, as well as 50 gig PON technologies in the near future. So this technology enables the service providers to provide a much better service to the end subscribers. Now, looking at some of these technologies in this network, we go from active Ethernet, which is a pure point-to-point infrastructure, towards something called XGS-PON. Now, in the active Ethernet networks, typically what you have is an Ethernet switch, and each Ethernet switch has a single SFP or port to each and every household in the network, and that is terminated at the traditional Ethernet network terminal. And that means that you have a dedicated fiber connection for each user to every household. Now, in the PON case, what we can do, and the things that are much more efficient, both in terms of capacity, you go up to 10 gig PON or 50 gig PON, but you can also go with a single SFP on the active device, which is equivalent to the Ethernet switch. It's now called an OLT, an optical line terminal. This OLT can use a single SFP to handle 32 or sometimes 64 or actually up to a maximum of 128 connections. Typically, it's 32. But single SFP can handle 32 connections instead of, if you look at the switch, which needs 32 SFPs to handle 32 connections. So this means that you can save a lot of energy and you can save a lot of active equipment in the network, and at the same time get an upgrade to higher speeds and better service for all of your end customers. Now, what you replace with the Ethernet switch, typically you replace the Ethernet switch here with something called a splitter. So the splitter is completely passive, and down to the right, you can see a splitter with 32 ports, which is a typical split ratio in the new 10 gig XGS-PON networks. So where this switch is located, you have the splitter, and then more centralized in the network or alongside these splitters, you have something called an OLT. So the OLT is the smart device in the network. This is the platform that is active, it's powered, it has software and control functionality, which it combines with also controller functionality from the system called SMx, which I will soon mention, and that we will also do that Spencer will do the demo with. So the OLT is the active device. It has a single SFP for many PON connections. The OLT can be equipped with from 4 up to many ports, depending on the density that you need. So this is typically how you see the migration take place. where you see the fiber hut and you see the passive splitter device, that is typically where the Ethernet switch was previously placed. So now you can move the active device to a more centrally located place, the central office, and this central office covers now many connections out to the household, and from the OLT and out to the household, the network becomes completely passive, and you don't need to have any powered equipment in the fiber hut. One thing worth mentioning here is that PON can cover, XGS-PON can cover from all the way from 0 kilometers up to 60 kilometers worth of fiber. Okay, so here on this slide we can see something that Spencer will in a couple of minutes demo for you. This is the full platform, including COS Systems all the way to the left. And the COS system is using a standard-based REST API to talk to our SMx controller. So that's the Calix SMx controller using a standard-based API. And underneath that standard-based API, we have the XGS-PON platforms, the E9, the E7, the E3s, that using the AXOS operating system. And the SMx is sort of giving the COS platform a very high abstraction layer, so that you don't have to know all about the details, how to provision the AXOS layer. The SMx knows all about that, so it's just talking the REST API to COS, and the abstraction layer is hiding all of the complexities from configuring and doing all of the details towards the PON network. Now, worth mentioning here also is that the AXOS control plane also has a standard-based CLI, which is also hiding all of the abstractions from the PON layer. So if you are used to configuring Ethernet switches, this is what you need to know with the AXOS. So you don't have to know specific PON technologies like GEM ports, T-cons, and so on. It's all hidden, and that's one of the advantages for you, where you can actually migrate in an easy way from point-to-point Ethernet to XGS-PON. So if we summarize the platforms, including the SMx and the AXOS operating system, we have a simple way of providing and provisioning the PON layer, the OLT layer. It's a simple Ethernet-oriented platform. It's automated, which we will see in the demo here with Spencer, and that provides you also with a very low total cost of ownership in the long run. Calix as a company, we have been here for a long time. We have been around for 25 years. You can see the revenue numbers here. We're a very healthy company, and our focus is really focused on open access networks, where we help our customers to simplify, innovate, and grow the network to become more of an experience provider, more than a service provider that focuses only on speeds and feeds. Okay. Over to you, Spencer.
Perfect. And let's see, let me just share my screen. And we will pop this up now. So what I'm going to start with today is just a customer journey. We'll start with the COS Business Engine marketplace and an open access environment the customer can go through, order a service, kind of show what that looks like, and then we'll jump into a side-by-side what happens when we're installing that ONT at that customer's address and how that looks in SMx at the same time and getting that service provisioned. So here in the marketplace, we'll start off. I've searched an address already. Depending on what address you search, you can get a survey or a pre-sign up for just the drop, or like this one, I can show my services, and I can get a list of services from all the different service providers on the network. So I can go through, I can filter, I can, show more information on the different services. I can read more and go through the order flow, look at the broadband label, etc. Right? This specific service I've already ordered. So what I'm going to do, and just to add all this information, this different service providers have their own login in the back end, and they update their pricing. They can see their wholesale fees and all that information. But now we'll jump into the customer's My Pages and kind of show, okay, this customer has ordered a service at this location. You can see it's awaiting activation. They have a fiber drop and installation task assigned. They can follow that when it's scheduled, etc. And they can also see, this specific customer has an active service at another location and a terminated one at another location. So if they had any signups or surveys, that information would be shown here as well. But they can also submit a support ticket. They can see disruption notifications and that sort of thing as well. See if their ONT is online and reachable or not. So a few nice features for the customer to see. But now I'm going to jump through on the back end and show what the process of getting this drop actually down and that ONT installed. So let's jump out and we'll minimize this for now. I'll put it right here. So right now what we have is I'll expand it a little. We have Calix SMx on the right side here and COS Business Engine admin on the left side. And I'm logged in as a operator login right now. And this is what an operator sees. So all the information from all the different networks, our customers online, network connection status, not some nice statistics there for them to check out. But for right now, I'm going to jump into a customer location, the one that we had right there on the marketplace that we were looking at, and kind of see what it looks like to install this customer. So you can see that there's an active work order in place. This specific service, for it to be activated, we'll jump into the actual order. So now we're on the service location. So we'll jump into that order. But in order for this to be activated, it requires an ONT, connection required, as well as a deliverable object. And we'll go through what that process looks like. So there's already an active work order. So we'll jump out directly in that work order and see how it looks. And if I look over here in Calix SMx, go under subscribers, this location is not yet there. There's no ONT assigned, but once that ONT is assigned to this location, then it'll pop up in Calix SMx as well. We'll look for that 965 location around here. So let's jump out. And so now I'm in the installer portal, and I've assigned this task today, or this work order, to one specific installer, so he gets all the tasks. Otherwise, I could assign different tasks to different users, different third-party contractors, and they'll be able to do those different tasks, get automatic notifications when the previous task complete, and that sort of thing. So let's click into this one. I'm already delayed, it looks like. But I can see some general information about this specific customer, where we're doing the installation. So I'm a little far away from where I'm doing that installation right now. So I'm sitting up here, and this is where we're doing the install. If there's any other integrations, I can fetch those attributes from those integrations like Fetro, etc. And we'll see the network items pop up here in a little from Calix SMx once that ONT is assigned to this location. So those diagnostics we'll be able to see. So let's go through and go ahead and look at the different steps in the process. So we have the drop design here. You can see, go ahead and proceed in the different step. But in this case, every step is assigned to the same user. In most cases, it'll be different users doing the design versus installation and that sort of thing. So we'll see what this process looks like. And all these processes, you can have it on a templatized format, and your text, messaging, of course, and you can have different things required or not. So required to add a picture, note, and file, that sort of thing. create warnings, etc. We'll jump through these and get more to the O&T step, but I can initiate this task. I can add a picture, a warning if I wanted to, for quality control, but I've installed the drop. Go ahead and proceed. And now I'm going to install the O&T here. So I can click initiate work. And essentially, when I install this O&T, I can go ahead and scan the QR code. And what happens there is I'll take my Calix O&T here, big QR code right there, and it scans QR code, or I can enter it manually, of course. Once I've installed this O&T, click proceed, then it's actually going to create the subscriber over in SMx. I can jump back to the work order itself here. So go ahead and click that. And now you actually see that the technical information from that integration popped up there. So I can see and fetch the live diagnostic information from Calix SMx about that O&T if there's anything available, right? So here I can see the which O&T model, if there's any alarms, the subscriber, so you can see that's been created. I think I just have to refresh it over here in Calix, or maybe it's on actually next page. Let me go ahead and find it. 965 it was, right? There we go. So now you can see it right there, 965. And you can see that there's no active service on it yet because I haven't completed the work order and actually tried to push that template, that service over, right? So here I can see if there's any alarms, etc. But right now we'll hide that again, and we'll actually go ahead and let's go through and finish this step here and get that service provisioned. So I'll go ahead and I'll open up the subscriber so we can follow that process in SMx at the same time when the service gets placed. So we'll go ahead and initiate the work for this last step. And depending on the different task types, they can do different things in the system and document different things, etc. So this specific task right here could have a lot of different information, but what we're doing here is we're saying once we're done with this, then it's sending the provisioning parameters to Calix, which service to provision essentially. I click proceed. And now the provisioning process will start. And then if I'm out in the field, I can go ahead and connect to that service after it's provisioned, complete a speed test so that we kind of save that baseline. What did this customer look like when we installed it? We called the object birth certificate for that service location. We save the light levels at that time, that sort of thing. So I'll show you what that looks like back in the admin. So while this is waiting to get provisioned, we'll jump back into the order in Business Engine. Go ahead and refresh this and see what's happening here. But now we can see it's awaiting activation. But you can see the O&T is now on this location. So here's the O&T that we scanned right there. I can view the diagnostic information. Right now it's provisioning, so it's not going to be there. It'll just show exactly what we showed on the installer portal there, so services. But while we're waiting for that to go ahead and provision, it'll pop up in Calix. We'll show a couple different functionalities that we have in the provision dashboard, for instance, while we're waiting for that. And here you can see, network contract errors, if there's any mismatch, maybe someone provisioned something manually out in the field that might show a mismatch versus what it looks like in our system. So now you can see it's actually provisioning's done, but I can show you a couple more things here. Network elements tree, you can see here Calix SMx, what's online, offline on each port. Nothing's offline right now, but otherwise you would see some red there as well. But we'll jump back into the order itself and go ahead and refresh this here. Now we'll be able to see that that is actually active, online, provisioned. I can click on diagnostics and see what's going on there, if there's any alarms. But now you can actually see that the service has been provisioned and that those match up both in SMx and in Business Engine. Otherwise, some other things you can do is you could reboot the ONT directly from here, which is very nice for service providers in open access environment. They can go into Business Engine here and do the general diagnostics and troubleshooting, reboot the ONT, first line support sort of things if they're talking to a customer, see that everything's up, there's no alarms. So if I go ahead and reboot that ONT, if I actually check on that diagnostics now, go ahead and refresh it again, you'll actually see that that ONT is no longer online since it is rebooting. Otherwise, we'll jump into the ONT itself and just show a couple additional things. As I was mentioning, diagnostic history. So here I can see I've used this ONT a couple other times, so it has a little more history, but I can see every time that an order is activated or an installation happens or a ticket submitted, we save those light levels at those times so that you have that record. You can troubleshoot over time and see the health of that location essentially. Otherwise, I think the downtime, you can see how long an ONT has been online, offline. So even if there's a power outage, you can kind of see, when it went on and off, etc., or if there's any other issues. So good for troubleshooting for the operator and service providers there. That's a little overview of what I have today, unless Björn or Mats, if you have anything else to add. But that's a brief overview of our integration. Definitely have some more details, but then you can always, of course, contact any of us, and we're happy to do a more in-depth demo for you all.
Yeah, so to wrap it up here, what we see here on the right and left screen is basically the REST API working together with the COS and the SMx Calix system. And underneath the SMx, you have the provisioning to the actual PON devices. And there's a lot of going on under the hood here. Is that correct, Spencer?
Yep, a lot going on under the hood, and we're fetching a lot of things live, and so it's always up to date. It really makes it easy for all the parties involved to know what's going on and take a look at everything. So yeah, it's a good example of what we mean by simplify things, right? Yep. Once you got it all set up on both sides, then it's smooth going from there, and auto provisioning, and service providers can add new services and that sort of thing very easily. So it streamlines the process across the board, especially in an open access environment. Yeah.
That was great, and yeah, we are really grateful that you have watched this. And Mats, any final words before we end this session?
Yes, I think this is a great example of showing exactly the way we want to work together with the COS systems. Calix is all about simplifying innovation and growth for the service provider networks, and this is a great way of showing how we can do that and how we're trying to simplify things. And if you want to talk more about the Calix platforms, feel free to reach out. You have my email address there in the beginning on the first slide, mats.lindmark@calix.com, and yeah, we'll take it from there.
Great, Spencer. Any last words?
Nope. Like I said, we're all available. Can definitely jump on a call and go through a demo, answer any questions. After we find the time. So.
Yeah, great. Again, thank you for watching this. We hope you enjoyed this session showing the upside with the combination of COS Business Engine and Calix. And yeah, we just wish you a great day, and don't hesitate to reach out to us anytime. So bye. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.